was August 29, 2017, at an event called the Black CEO. It was held at American Centers in Bloomfield Hills, and in charge of it, her name was Nicole Sadger, that was her name. Badger, that's what. And I went there because she invited me, and she said that she was putting together an event for businesses. And she said, I think this would be good for you to meet some people for your jobs club. So I went there that afternoon, and it was they had a great turnout. She had a lot of people, most people I knew from before, and Zaja was one of the new people I met. After we met, we connected on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and she was very impressed with how we run Jobs Club. So a few months ago, she wrote to me and said that she wanted to be a guest speaker. And I said, well, I know you're a great speaker. I see your videos all the time on Facebook, and she's real good on motivation for the young people, like helping how to grow, how to live, and not fall into the traps that they're going to expect when they feel they fall into the wrong crowd. So Zaja said she wants to speak on be more involved, the roots of planning. She's real good on providing support to disadvantaged and low-income families that suffer from life-threatening illnesses. As a business coach and mentor, she's going to teach us why it's important to support and be active on certain issues when it comes to learning and advancement in certain areas of education or helping ourselves do better. So, without further ado, I'd like to please welcome our third guest speaker, Zaja Hubbard.
Thank you. I appreciate you. It's Zaja Hubbard. You gave me an extra syllable. But my name is Zaja Hubbard. Good morning, everyone. I definitely want to take the time to thank you for this opportunity, because you don't take it lightly when people invite you on their platform to speak to other individuals, and it's always a blessing to be able to get your message out and just talk about the things that you're doing. My mother named me after Zsa Zsa Gabor, and I said, Mom, how dare you name me after this rich, wealthy white woman, and we're poor. And she said to me while she was on her deathbed that your Kool-Aid, she told me, she said, you always have these champagne dreams with these Kool-Aid pockets. And I told her, I said, well, one day my Kool-Aid pockets are going to catch up to my champagne dreams. And just a little bit of background, I have a background in political and policy and politics. And I went to school for political science and business. And my senior year in high school, I was accepted to every college that I had applied to, and I had a scholarship for every college that I applied to. But unfortunately, because of my disobedience to my mother and not paying attention to the things that she told me, I became a teenage mother. And I'd like to thank my son and my little sister for coming here, because even though during that time frame, me being a young lady myself, being the oldest of five sisters and three brothers. I had, my mom had 7 children, and I had 2 additional siblings on my dad's side. And it was a little bit overwhelming to know that here I am helping to raise all of my brothers and sisters while my mom was a single parent, only for me to turn around and be pregnant. I had my son July 1st, 2003, and I had to be in college July 5th, that same week. I did something a lot of people will probably think I was crazy for. I left my newborn baby here in Detroit while I went to go pursue my college education. It chokes me up every time I think about it, because the young lady that spoke earlier talked about the bonding that you have after you have a child, and we didn't get a chance to do that. I would come home on the weekends and look at my kid and be like, oh my God, he got so big. Like, what happened? Like, I just, what are you guys feeding him? And so I said all that to say, I've had a lot of challenges with dealing with who you think you're supposed to be and how it's supposed to work out, and how life can throw you so many changes and curveballs. And you have to learn to not only adjust, but learn to strategize and plan properly as to how are you going to, 1, recover How are you going to rebound from these situations? And how are you going to allow those things to impact you in a positive manner? Because sometimes in African American community, the low income community, we don't deal with the negativities of life the way that we need to. We pick up a blunt, we pick up a drink, we vent to people who have no idea or ability to help us. And so we just spiral and we go around in circles. And so I'm blessed to have so many mentors and amazing people in my life, like Tanya Champion and Kathy M. Garrett, who I worked for. And they didn't let me forget that high school student that I once was. And because life has a way of taking you on ups and downs, and you think in your mind, this is the plan that I'm taking. I'm going to do this, and this. These are your plans, right? And so when you start that plan, things start happening that you don't foresee, forcing circumstances. And so I want to talk about my life experience a little bit, and then a little bit of my work experience, so that you have a better understanding of who Zsa Hubbard is. My mother passed away a few years ago, and I started a nonprofit on her behalf called the Kelly's Kids Foundation. And like I expressed to you earlier, my mom had 7 children, and we were never identified individually. We were always identified as, there goes Kelly's kids, or here comes Kelly with her kids. And it was a blessing in being able to coin that, but it also became a blessing knowing that during the time frame while my mom was sick, my sister and I had not only the knowledge, but we had the resources during her demise. I worked for Wayne County for 10 years under the tutelage of the Wayne County Clerk, Kathy M. Garrett. And during my time working for her, I was able to learn about estate planning, guardianship, marriage, CCWs, board canvassing, voter registration, so many things that we don't think about, and so many things that you don't think will impact your life later. I never thought in a million years that I would have to bury my mother. I never thought in a million years that my father would commit suicide the day after Thanksgiving. I never thought in a million years that I would have to bury my brother who had been killed in prison. And so all of these different changes and challenges that happened during my time frame under that leadership, and knowing how did this knowledge and this work experience help me. When I started working for Wayne County, I saw so many people coming in to start a business. They were applying for a business name. And it dawned on me, and I was like, why are you guys buying a business name when you should go to the state of Michigan and actually buy your name with the state instead of buying an assumed name? And so I started talking to some of the clients and customers in there, and I saw how they lack the knowledge. They have these grand ideas, these big plans, right? And they don't know the strategy or the plan in which they need to go. And so I started one of my companies, Hubbard Resource Group, where we worked on planning, branding, funding, and marketing, which a lot of people think about, oh, I have this big idea. I really want to do X, Y, and Z. And they don't really realize all the steps to get from A to Z. We think, oh, I want to open up a club, but you don't really realize you need licensing. You got to make sure that you have the right ingredients and all the different things that you need in order for that business to be successful. Even when it comes to having a marriage, starting a family, you think, oh, I want to get married. I want my husband to be this. I want my husband to be that. I want my wife to be this. But have you planned and prepared yourself for those things you actually want to acquire? And so with that being said, planning is the most important part of your life. You have to plan not only the steps in which you want to do things, but you also have to plan those unforeseen circumstances. And I say that because how many of us have planned a birthday party? I know somebody had a birthday. We all age. How many of you have planned what you're going to wear today, or what kind of trip you're going to take? And one of my mentors, Tanya Champion, she always told me proper planning prevents poor performance. And knowing that when you plan properly, it turns out amazing. When you don't prepare yourself for the week, you get thrown off by things as they happen. The night before, you know that you have a big job interview, and you don't take the time to figure out what it is that you want to wear the night before, and then you wait in the morning, and now you trying to figure out what you're gonna wear, and now you got all this extra time, you got to do your hair, and you got to figure out all these different things because you failed to properly plan. A birthday party. We plan these beautiful, extravagant baby showers and birthday parties, and then sometimes we forget the most important part. Did I send out all the invitations to all the people that I want to invite? Did I order the cake? And so sometimes we miss certain things because we fail to plan properly. And so when you're planning certain things, you have to write those plans down. I am an avid writer. I recently just lost a notebook, and I was literally in tears because those were plans that I had in that notebook. And so those plans direct you. They're like a sail that helps you shift and as you're selling in life. And sometimes life can bring you to a low level where you just don't know what you're going to do. And a really great friend of mine, Tiffany Lewis, she always tells me, Papas, pick a place and start. It doesn't mean that you have to have all of the components to fulfill your plan, but you want to have those key components, those who, what, when, where, whys that we learn and how when we learn in secondary school and elementary school and middle school and high school. And that's one of the reasons why I have such a love and an avid love for our young people, because they don't understand the importance of planning. They just do stuff. You know, they just out here. I'm just doing it. I'm going to do it. And there's nothing wrong with doing what it is that you desire to do. But if you don't have a for sure plan or a direction, you get easily persuaded by what other people think. You get easily talked out of doing things that you know in your heart you're called to do. And then now you're trying to figure out, how did I become this person or this in this particular this issue that I have? How did I get here? And so with that being said, I like to coincide planning with science fair projects. When my son was younger, he would have to do science fair projects, and he waited to the last minute to always tell me he had a science fair project. I mean, it irked my nerves. I mean, I had to write a contract, and I had to make him sign it to tell me that you will never do this to me again, because I got to go get a board, I got to get the border, I got to go get all these things. But in a science fair project, it helps you to learn how to plan. In a science fair project, you're looking to do purpose. You're doing research, you're doing data, you're doing your hypothesis, you're doing your details and materials, you're doing your observations, your conclusions, and your results of this project. And that coincides with planning. When you learn to identify those areas, because just like all of us, we come up with a lot of visions. There are so many people, and my pastor talks about the wealthiest places in the world are the cemetery, because these people died with visions without a plan. They died with an idea that could